I've only got about 15 minutes. I thought I would do a quick, maybe about 20. I thought I would do a quick live broadcast to see if I could help you answer any questions about your house, your apartment, your condominium, whatever it might be. And these turn out usually to be pretty much fun. And of course, the only way it works is that since you can't talk to me through the video interaction, you have to use the chat feature. So you have to ask me questions in the chat. I just finished my weekly column and just filed it. I still write my syndicated Ask the Builder news column, and I just filed it. This week it's about all the things you don't know about exterior paint and why exterior paint fails. So once again, this is I'm here to answer any questions you might have about your home, your apartment, your condo. So if you want me to help you, just go ahead and type something in the chat. Try to keep it, let's keep it clean, okay? I mean, some people are just, they put the craziest things in chat. All right. Anyway, I shared a story in my newsletter on Sunday about a friend of mine whose house, he had a kitchen fire, and it was caused from an electrical arc. And if you're not a subscriber to my newsletter, it might be a good idea to do it because you get stories like this on a frequent basis. Once again, the reason I'm doing this live broadcast right now, and it is live, is just to help you if you have a question about your home, your apartment, your condo, your small business, whatever it might be. Just type your question in the chat, and I'll do my best to answer it. Simple as that. What else did I want to tell you? Spring's here. It's the time of year that a lot of people get ready to paint outdoors, and I just wrote a brand new column about the most common mistakes that people make when they paint outdoors. And there's many different reasons why you have paint failure, and not the least of which is you might be using the wrong paint, and number two, you're not following the directions on the label of the paint can. Anyway, once again, if you've got a question about your home, your house, your apartment, your condominium, whatever it might be, just go ahead and type it in the chat, and I'll do my best to answer it. Simple as that. I'm only going to be on here for a few minutes, just so you know, because I'm going to be on. I'm going to be doing a live radio broadcast online in about 25 minutes. Every 3 weeks or so, I'm on WLIP.com. So WLIP, so LIP, WLIP. That's up in Kenosha, Wisconsin. So if you want to hear me on live radio and interact with Frank and Kim and Rihanna, go to WLIP.com at about 10:25 today. This April 28th here. So anyway, once again, if you've got a question about your home, your apartment, your condo, your small business, whatever it might be, type it into the chat so that I can see your question, and I'm more than happy to answer it. It can be about anything. I don't care what it's about. It could be about your roof. It could be about concrete. It could be about paint, drywall, electric, plumbing. Did you know I'm a master plumber? So if you've got a plumbing question, go ahead and type it in and let me help you. Save you lots of money. Plumber is very expensive, all right? So I think the biggest thing that I want to share with you today is the story that I shared in yesterday's newsletter that I put one out every Sunday, and it was about a friend of mine who had a house fire last week in his kitchen. He was doing a bunch of remodeling work, and the contractors had to move the island. And the island had 2 electric wires that went up into it, and they must have thought that one of the circuits was off, the breaker, but it wasn't. And so there was some arcing that happened, and this electrical arcing, it started the fire, all right? And luckily, my friend was next door. He had interconnected smoke detectors that alerted him to the fire. They caught it early. They were able to use fire extinguishers to pretty much get it out. And then by the time the fire department showed up, it was pretty much under control. but my friend did suffer some pretty serious smoke inhalation, had to go to the hospital. So you have to be really, really careful. Let me tell you, there's one thing you probably don't know about house fires. So if you go back in time, okay, William, I'll get to your question in just a second. If you go back in time, oh, I don't know, let's go 60 years ago. Um, Firefighters, if you were to, um, I know it's really obtuse and it's really hard to make a correlation, but prior to the 1960s, firefighters, um, they didn't suffer a lot of cancers, all right? And once we started introducing plastic into our homes, and now you can find plastic just about everywhere in your home. When plastic burns, it creates a very, very toxic smoke. So you just don't even want to think about inhaling that smoke. I don't think the fire had much plastic involved, but he still had some serious issues. All right, so remember, the reason I'm doing this live broadcast, and I'm only going to be on for another 15 minutes max, is once again, because I'm going to be on WLIP.com and a live radio show at 10:25 today. So if you want to listen to me on a live radio show after this broadcast is over, go to WLIP.com and tune in. All right, William says, good morning. I live in New Hampshire also. Oh, welcome, William. I'm up here in Meredith. Your home's about 4 years old. When it rains and the wind blows just right, the wood up from the trim pieces around my bathroom window inside of the bed. Oh, well, okay. So the reason you're getting that leak, it's a wind-driven rain. My guess is going to be not only did they not do the correct flashing on the outside, but they might not have laced the window in with the barrier, like the felt paper. In the old days would use felt paper, or the Tyvek or the Henry house wrap. They might not have done that detail right. And if they use that zip sheathing, it's one of my biggest complaints with zip sheathing. That's that green OSB you see most builders use. That product, they seal the seams with this tape. And, if the OSB, it's the same old thing. It's like I just wrote a comment about paint. If the OSB is dusty, if it's dirty, this tape's not going to stick well. And they use that same tape to tape around the windows. So my recommendation would be for you to go to my website, askthebuilder.com. There's an Ask Tim page. Click that. Take some photographs of your window. I need to see the outside of it. You can upload those photos on that page. Send it to me, and we might have to do a consult phone call, all right? Because I might have a lot to talk about. So, I offer a direct one-on-one phone consultation service. So do that, and I'll do my best to try to help you solve this leak. But we'll be able to solve the leak. I can solve that for sure. All right. Let's see. You asked, should I contact a roofer or siding company? I think you should start with me first, and then let me look and see what it is, and I'll tell you how we're going to fix it. I think that's the simplest thing to do. I hope that helps. All right. So if you've got a question like William has about your home, and that was a great one, by the way. That was a really great question, William. Feel free to call me. Call me. Feel free to type it in the chat here. Hi, Dominic. How you doing? Great to see you here. Let's see what your question is. I have a stone foundation home in PA. Want to replace the floor joist for a full renovation. Would you trust the ledger board to support the entire first floor, or should I go back in the pocket? So, well, that's a good question. Stone foundation. I mean, the stone foundations are really, really strong. If there would be any way that first of all, it's going to be really hard for you. If you think about this, unless you can take a stone off the top of the pocket. If you have true pockets that are enclosed at the top, unless they're exceptionally deep, you can't get a joist in. Because you need a minimum 4-inch bearing. So the only way that you could get a joist in would be if one of the pockets was about 10 inches deep, because then you could slide the joist all the way in, and then it would clear the face of the foundation on the other side. Then you can slide it into the far pocket. All right, so my guess is you don't have that luxury. So you're going to have to do a ledger board, but the problem becomes, how are you going to support the ledger board? Uh, that's going to be that could be very problematic. I think, same thing, I think you need to do what I told William. You probably need to take a few photos, go to my Ask Tim page on my website, upload the photos, and then we may have to do a consult phone call. It's simple as that, to talk it through. Um, Pockets enclosed, the pockets are not enclosed at the top. Okay, good. Well, then if they're not enclosed at the top, you should be able to drop the joist in place. Um, just be aware that, like the modern code, when we build new, the code says we're not allowed to have regular lumber. So that means non-treated lumber is not allowed to be in contact with masonry. So that's why when we build new homes and you've got a concrete foundation, even if the concrete's up 2, 3 feet in the air, it doesn't matter. We have to put a treated sill plate down, and then you could rest a joist on that. So your joists, they can't touch any of the stone. All right, so think about that. How are you gonna do that? I mean, you may have to use treated lumber for your floor joists. All right, so just keep that in mind. Remember, if you have a question, you've got to type it into the chat. I'm happy to help you, just like I've helped William, Dominic. That's the whole reason I'm here doing these Stump the Builder live vertical broadcasts. So I hope you like them. If you do, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Um, that's how, just so you know, that's in the Google algorithm. The reason people like me always ask you to like the video is it sends a message to Google or to YouTube that hey, you're basically saying to YouTube, hey YouTube, you should show this video to other people, for whatever reason. Either it was entertaining, it was helpful, blah blah blah. So anyway, if you got another question, type it in. I'm trying to see the chat here. Go ahead and you can ask me anything. To be honest with you, I don't care what the topic is about your home. It could be a deck, it could be a footing issue, it could be a drainage issue, it could be a roofing problem. You name it, I'm here to help you. That's why I'm here, to help you save time and money. Simple as that. All right. So, and the hardest thing, just about these live broadcasts, is to keep your interest level up, and it's really hard to do when I don't have a guest. And in fact, I was talking to my son over the weekend. I was thinking about doing one of an upcoming live broadcast like this with a guest. And if you have any ideas, if there's people that you think that would be fun for me to have on the broadcast, I'm happy to entertain it. So type in who you think you might want me to get, and I'll ask them, see if they'll do it. We'll have some fun. And just so you know, I mean, that's why if you watch some of the really popular podcasts out there, many of them, not all of them, but many of them are, it's basically an interview. It's like a conversation. And if you've ever been at a party or been anywhere and dipped in on a conversation, you know that can sometimes be very, very entertaining. So that's why I want to I just want to experiment and see how much fun it might be to have somebody else on the live broadcast. All right, so once again, we're running out of time because I've got to get ready to get on the live radio broadcast that I'm going to do in about 15 minutes. I'll be on WLIP.com up in Kenosha, Wisconsin. So it's always fun. The two people that own that, Frank and Kim Carmichael, they own that radio station and they own a publishing company. They've published my syndicated column for probably 20, 25 years. And I'm a frequent guest on their show. And what's cool about their show is that I never know what they're going to ask me. And we don't always talk about building and remodeling. Sometimes Frank wanders off into politics, and he and I are not politically aligned. And so the conversations they can get very animated sometimes. So it's really kind of, I have a lot of fun on that show. Dominic says you should do these Q&A live on a schedule. Yeah, I can do that. I'm actually attending a YouTube boot camp right now, and they actually talked about how it's really better for viewers just like you to do it on a schedule, which makes perfect sense because that's how television had worked for years, right? I mean, so think about this. I'm old enough to remember television before there were VCRs or before cable television even existed. And if you wanted to watch Mickey Mouse on Saturdays, you better sit down in front of the TV at 8 in the morning. I mean, period, because it was on at 8, and that was it. And if you missed it, you missed it, and there was no replay. All right, so uh, you know, everybody now has it much better. So yeah, I'm thinking about doing a schedule, and I think it would work out a whole lot better. So yes to that. That's a great suggestion. Thanks so much for it. I appreciate it. Once again, running out of time here. I'm only going to be on for 5 minutes, if that. So if you have a question about your home, apartment, or condo, now's the time to type it into the chat, just like Dominique did and William. Take advantage of this. I'm trying to help you for free, save you a lot of money, save you a lot of time. I can't begin to tell you how many people, you know, they just get taken to the cleaners. All right, so let's see what this one is. Do you know what the average cost of getting a porch built on a small house? I want to do it myself, and I'm starting to think it's better to do it with a professional. The answer is no. I don't know what the average price is because there are too many variables, all right? But here's how simple it is to kind of come up with a price. You can, with not much effort, make a very simple list of materials that you would need, especially since it's a small porch. So just think about the process that you're going to build. You know, like you're going to maybe, if you're going to use a concrete base or if you're going to use a tiny wood deck, just start making a list of all the materials and then price those out, all right? And generally what you're going to find, for sake of discussion, generally, is the total cost for that to be done by a professional who's not going to rip you off, assuming there's nothing really hard about it, it might be 2 to 3 times what that number is. One of the factors might be the permitting. You know, how hard is it to get a permit to do this? I can tell you that in some areas, the permitting process is a nightmare. Like in California, it's crazy. All right, you could spend thousands and thousands of dollars just getting a permit. So just start yourself and make a material list, simple as that. All right, hi, how you doing? It says here, I have a question about installing tall pieces of like this, you say tall pieces of metal siding, you probably mean long, like 20, 20, 50, any tips on raising the pieces vertical without fold? No, the answer is yes, I do have a suggestion. You need help, all right? You need to have a helper because as you well know, if a gust of wind grabs that metal, which it will on almost every, you know, as the day gets, you know, as the sun gets higher in the sky, it heats up the atmosphere and causes more wind. So it's very common in the middle of the day for it to be breezy, all right? So you have to have a helper. It's that simple. There's no, I mean, the only other thing you can do, and this just makes it more cumbersome, is you could take painter's tape and tape that piece of metal siding to something that is more rigid, but that's just going to make it heavier to lift up into the air, all right? Like a 1x8. Like a pine 1x8, and you're going to have a hard time finding one longer than 16 feet, so that's going to be problematic. So it's not easy. You might also, right here on YouTube, as crazy as this sounds, watch some videos about, like I would probably do a search on commercial metal buildings, like, because commercial metal buildings use giant pieces of steel, and see how they deal with that problem. But I've never done it. I've never installed big, long pieces of metal siding like that. All right, look, I'm going to run here, get ready to get on the air on WLIP.com. So if you want to switch over, listen to me on the radio with Frank and Kim, it could be a really fun day. I'll be on until 11 o'clock in the morning. Go ahead and go to WLIP.com. And you'll see on their webpage a way to listen to the broadcast live. So, Dominique, I'm going to take up your suggestion. I'm going to schedule some of these live broadcasts and do it that way, and see if we might not get a few more people tuned in. And that also gives you time to get your questions, lined up. So I think that's another advantage, so that you don't have to think you know, in the heat of the moment, how to, what's on your mind about your house. All right, thanks very much. I had a great time. I always have a lot of fun on these, and I love answering your questions. Remember, go to my website, askthebuilder.com, subscribe to the newsletter. Be sure to hit the like button here. If you've not already subscribed to the channel, please do, and because that's the way that I'm able to continue to come back. It's that simple. All right, I'll see you on the next broadcast.